Hello and welcome to this week's Live Local and Loud with me, Kevin Gaughan. On this week's show, I shall be chatting to young local singer, songwriter and organiser of a rather special event himself, here in sunny Leicester, Mr. Chris Ilet. And also we'll be playing lots of homegrown tunes by local bands. Hello, I hope you're all well and are having a great week. Right, let's kick things off on this week's little show with a bit of Billow Buckers and It'll Be Alright.
I know it's hard sometimes, but it'll be alright if you make it right. You've just gotta learn when to call it a night. And now you're always working as 5 days wasted. The other two, you don't know how to face it. Got that feeling but you just can't place it. Nothing to do, just get wasted. At times we wait and do nothing for it. In your dead end job, is this your calling? Where you love the nights and regret the mornings. Lost your penny, can't chip your fortune. And I know it's hard sometimes, but it'll be alright if you make it right. You've just gotta learn when to call it a night. To say there's a time and a place, and said you'd come in and you'd never show face. Pushed away and preferred your own space, and now you're always in mine. It's a chase, this ain't your place, you do nothing for it. This ain't your space, it ain't your calling. Well, what you said you'll regret in the morning. Lost your bottle, can't chip your fortune. And I know it's hard sometimes, but it'll be alright if you make it right. You just gotta learn when to call it a night. And I know it's right sometimes, but it'll be alright if you make it right. I said you just gotta learn when to call it a night. Said I know it's right sometimes, but it'll be alright if you make it right. I said you just gotta learn when to call it a night. It'll be alright if you make it right. You've just gotta learn when to call it a night.
That's the wonderful Billow Buckers and It'll Be Alright. He can next be seen with the Mucks and the Red Shakes and Luke Wall coming up the rear. And on Sunday, the 28th of October in the sunny Soundhouse in sunny Leicester. Sorry, not Sunday, it's a Saturday, 28th of October 2023 at the Soundhouse in Leicester with, that's Billow Buckers with the Mucks, Red Shakes and Luke Wall. So that sounds like a great gig. Must admit, I haven't been to the Soundhouse for a little while. So yeah, might pop into that one. Meanwhile, here's a little bit of Michael Vickers. He did a rather special gig last week upstairs at the Western. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend, but by all purposes, it looks like it was a really good one. So here's Michael Vickers and Be Gospel.
I guess she planned to make a living and cash in on a dream. She had common sense, good friends and a list of abilities, but sad to say they had to stand in the way. They should have had her back through everything, thick and thin, since day one. Two strict parents who believe in a God that they believe teaches people to not be who you are. If what you are doesn't conform to all their outdated rules, instead of getting by, embracing life and all its individuals. Cause isn't that the point? That God loves us all, not God loves you if you're white, straight and abide by the laws. A young scared girl with dreams of travelling the world, kicked out the house Sunday school.
Driving on the road alone, looking for a place called home, feeling like you're all alone, searching for some peace of mind, but I'm not sure what peace you'll find, trying to leave it all behind.
I guess it's easy to be led by what you're born to believe, cause you were taught to stuff it down their throat so they can't breathe, and all the science in the world does make it hard to believe. That's why they try to justify it when somebody disagrees, but no one really fully knows where we go when we sleep, so they could have even let her have her own beliefs at least, but they pulled her from her dreams like a dog on a leash, so she rebelled worse than if they would have just let it be. She started drinking as a kid, having a little bit of green at 13. By 16, train tracks along the vein, you see the silver spoon and foils just summing for the pain. They stopped her playing on the street as a kid, now she walks the streets for pay.
Driving on the road alone, looking for a place called home, feeling like you're all alone, searching for some peace of mind, but I'm not sure what peace you'll find, trying to leave it all behind. Bring peace to me, bring peace to me, no more,
Look, maybe there's a God, either there ain't or there is. Why spend our lives fighting about whether he or she exists? Last week a scared little girl from the street next to me believed that life weren't living, so she flicked the switch. As the lights went out, she fell down and thought about the life she could have had for a split second, then passed out. If they'd have took her back, she may have turned it around, but as she lays on the ground, it's clear they're too late now. Hoping to be redefined, I'm praying it leaves your mind when you leave it all behind.
driving on the road alone, looking for a place called home, feeling like you're all alone, searching for some peace of mind, but I'm not sure what peace you'll find, trying to leave it all behind. Bring peace to me, bring peace to me, no more, no more, no more.
Peace to me, bring peace to me. No more, no more, no more.
That was one of my favourites from Michael Vickers and Be Gospel. Of course, he's just got his new album out. His debut solo album has just been released literally a couple of days ago. It's called A Life in a Day. So that's brilliant. Why don't you nip over to his Facebook page and have a listen. His Facebook page is Michael Vickers Music. So yes, great stuff from him there. So now it's time to rock things up with a little bit of Scam, who I've got some special news out about after the song. So it's Scam, One Track Mind, featuring Paul Mahon from The Answer.
The noise dies down, my breath's the only sound. The house inside and it's all for you, yeah.
That was local hard rockers Scam and One Track Mind featuring Paul Mahon from The Answer. And my special bit of news about them is tomorrow night, that's Friday the 22nd of September 2023, they're going to be doing a very special, intimate, one-off acoustic gig, no less. This might be the first time they've ever done an acoustic gig, but acoustic gig, and the special thing about it is it's at the Guildhall in Leicester. Yes, that really old building near the BBC Radio 2 studios. So yeah, don't know if there's tickets left, but if there are, why don't you check them out on Scam's Facebook page. So that'll be fantastic. Okay, so now let's have a little bit of Charlie Jones, who's now going under the name of Siege. That's C-E-E-J, and Queen of Hearts.
Moving mind frames, but my body stays the same. And it's similar for days. Oh, breaking hearts up, but my body's been the same. And it never seems to change. Oh, strings pull towards another place, but the red would turn to grey, and I'll be reminded every day. Oh, lady, oh, that lady, well, she'll confiscate your brain, and she'll make it sunny when it rains. Oh, so lay your cards on the table, I'm showing signs of ableness, with a head rush banging on the flush that you have given away, given away. You may be the king of the club, I'm the queen of hearts, for a world apart, like a diamond in the rough. You dig me out with a spade, down the music made, down the music made. Softly spoken, not much harder than myself, and about the same in mental health. Oh, rudely awakened with a hand around my heart, and I'm making comments in the dark. Oh, lately, oh, just lately, well, I'm throwing away my crown, 'cause I'm never either up or down. I'm just lazy, and that laziness, it takes me so far back to when I wasn't in the pack. The head rush banging on the flush that you have given away, given away. You may be the king of the club, but I'm the queen of hearts, for a world apart, like a diamond in the rough. You dig me out with a spade, out the music made, out the music made. So head rush banging on the flush that you have given away, given away. You may be the king of the club, I'm the queen of hearts, for a world apart, like a diamond in the rough. You dig me out with a spade, out the music made, out the music made.
That was the wonderful Charlie Jones and Queen of Hearts. She also goes under the name of Siege, C-E-E-J. Just had checked out her local social media even, and she doesn't seem to be up to anything in particular at the moment. So yeah, hope she gets back on the scene soon, because I love that voice. Okay, so now over to somebody who is doing something. He's very active at the moment. It's this week's interviewee, where I'm chatting to local singer, songwriter and organiser of a rather special event in sunny Leicester, Mr. Chris Ilet. But first of all, we start off with one of his tunes, Eschew.
gotta take the words you read between the lines, something you have earned. And lucky if it's so sublime, just a little burn. Swallowing pride, I find my forgiving side. One day she will too. My heart will explode with pride, glowing shades of blue. The years I'm away from you, so sad. The name in your phone has changed, so sad. Ironic, iconic, and I'm feeling so sad. Black dog coming to get me, so sad, so sad. To look at it now, I see why I made you smile. I don't think you do. I can't seem to reconcile those 2 points of view. The years I'm away from you, so sad. My name in your phone has changed, so sad. Ironic, iconic, and I'm feeling so sad. Black dog coming to get me, so sad, so sad.
That was Eshu by the incredible Chris Ilet, who is this week's extra special guest here on Live, Local and Loud. So, Chris, hello there. How the devil am I finding you today?
Hello, Kevin. Thank you very much for having me. I'm doing very well. Yeah. I'm delighted to be here.
Excellent. I'm delighted to have you. And thank you so much for chatting with me here today on Live, Local and Loud. Now, of course, you're a singer-songwriter as well as an organizer of an event that's got a little different twist to it. And we're going to talk about both today. But first of all, let's find out more about your roots, the songwriting. Well, I presume the songwriting side came before the event side, did it?
Yes, entirely. I mean, I picked up the guitar when I was about 12 years old. It wasn't very long until I sort of started playing in bands and writing my own songs. And it's just always been, the biggest passion of my life, doing that.
Oh, that's amazing. You preempted my first question as well. And so how did you, what made you pick up the guitar in the first place?
I don't remember specifically. It was just falling in love with guitar music. Bands like Extreme and Little Angels, I remember being sort of very early influences, sort of the heavier side. Then I found Hendrix, which most guitarists do, and sort of went through almost a psychedelic music phase. I'd just like to acknowledge. And then by the time I was 19, I found myself in Australia touring, sort of just doing gigs in coffee houses and youth hostels. And then I landed back in the UK and back in Leicester. I grew up close to Leicester.
So, I love guitar music as well, but I've got no intention whatsoever to pick up a guitar and start playing it. Interesting. So why did you want to do that?
I think it's something that just grabs you, and once you do it, if you find, it's almost like a magic. It sounds ridiculous, but once that grabs you, you almost can't do anything else. You can't imagine a life without it. And perhaps once you play with your first band, and it doesn't matter if it's terrible, but the feeling you get from that is unlike anything else. So it becomes addictive and, part of who you are. So, for most of us, I suppose, it becomes a lifelong obsession with this form of art.
Okay, good. So we've just played Eschew. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Well, you would probably pronounce it the apparent correct way. My understanding is that the American pronunciation is eschew, and the British is eschew. That could be completely incorrect, but I don't really mind. So in the eschew.
Because I say it, I naturally want to call it eschew. So the American way, it's just for the listeners, it's spelt Eschew. It's almost like a sneeze. Eschew.
Exactly. But I could be corrected there. I could be entirely wrong, but it's what felt good to me, and it's in the context of a song. It's almost like I'm taking that as a name for myself. So it doesn't really matter. It's eschew in the context of the song.
Oh, okay. What does it actually mean then? Or and how did the inspiration of the song come about?
Well, that's it's written about a relationship which I missed very dearly. The word itself, I suppose, means sort of probably not going to explain it entirely correctly, but to avoid, to shun. The theme was that my name would be in this person's phone as avoid.
What, it would be in their phone as the word avoid?
Yes, that kind of thing. Don't text, that reminder to not text them.
Right. Bit like me and the guitar then. I wouldn't pick up a guitar. I would avoid it.
Perhaps, yes. Yeah, entirely.
So with you then, how does the creative process happen? I'm gonna have to change my questions. Ask all my interviewees this. How does the creative process happen with you then, Chris? Do you dream up lyrics in the night, or how does that work?
So that can happen. You might come across a phrase or a thought or a lyric, and it just the thought of it will inspire you, and you'll want to explore that. And yes, very often it will happen lyrically, and then you'll try to maybe put some sort of tune to a chorus or something like that. Other times it will start on a guitar or piano with a riff or a melody or something like that, and that will inspire the feeling it gives you and shape the song that way. Okay,
so let's bring it around to your events that you do. So you've started an open mic session with a difference. Can you just tell us about that? What is the twist?
Sure. Well, it's not an open mic. The open thing tends to be people turn up on the night and put their name down, and then they get to play maybe 2 songs or something like that. This is not that. This is an event with acts which are booked ahead of time. The idea came to me that I was seeing a lot of people who seem to feel a bit disconnected, who perhaps weren't actually going and meeting friends, or perhaps they felt like they didn't really have many friends at this stage in their life. And that can become a very lonely place to be. And I've been there before myself, so I have a lot of empathy for that. Originally, it did come from the stats on male suicide, really. The fact that it's something like 3 times higher or more than for females. But I also didn't want this to become or to appear to be some kind of boys' club. Sort of didn't run with that narrative, if you like. But the feeling was there that actually it would be nice to put on an event where people can turn up alone if they want, and they don't have to feel awkward because they are at an event on their own. They can they can meet people there if they wish, if they're feeling confident enough to actually talk to people and engage. And what often happens at these is that people maybe don't feel confident, but suddenly feel themselves at ease at this event. So that's a nice thing.
Oh, okay, that sounds good. So it's more like a social event then.
It's very much social first. It's audience first, or attendees first, if you like. It's
okay.
The main motivation is them. It's about mental health. It's about well-being first and foremost.
Okay, well, we'll talk a bit more about it at the moment. But before we do, let's play one of the artists that you've had performing there, and also who I've had on this very show a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago, but fairly recently. JJ Lovegrove. So tell me about, why did you choose this song?
So JJ played for us back in August, and she left the audience absolutely speechless. You know, there were tears, lots of tears. She was just such a wonderful performer, unlike anything else I've ever seen or heard. She is doing so many good things at the moment that I feel she really has a chance to go on to greater things. And if anybody deserves it, she does. So choose songs and not include her in this.
Yeah, I totally agree. I must admit, and this song in particular really does it for me as well. But okay, let's play it. So here's The Bet by JJ Lovegrove.
Sorry for the oceans while your brainwaves caused you coastal erosions. You know everywhere that you would go, I would try to follow, and I would promise you the whole garden if you could promise me a tomorrow. Don't say that I am wrong just yet. I haven't said goodbye to my friends. Me and my dad, we had a bet. It's love that holds us, not regrets. So promise me you'll visit. Promise me you'll visit. The news is oh so sad. Even the walls in my home are crying. Give me 3 rings so I know how you're selling it. I will build a time machine, but I know you wouldn't want it. So maybe I'll live in the static and tune into the voices
Thank you. Thank you.
That was The Bet by JJ Lovegrove, and it was recorded live at the Soundhive Social event, which is organised by young Chris Ilet, who is this week's extra special guest here on Live, Local and Loud. So, Chris, so it sounds to me, now you've been telling us a little bit about your events. What they call this called Soundhive, is that right?
Soundhive Socials.
Soundhive Socials. So it's a kind of social event with music in the background, is that right?
It's the original concept was to have it more with music in the background, with the caveat that I imagined that it would give artists the opportunity to find out what it is about, their songs, the parts of their songs which capture the audience attention if it's not completely focused on them. The intention was never just to have the artists really as background, but to almost set a challenge for them to improve and, as a learning experience.
So do the artists actually get to talk to the...
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
What's actually ended up happening is that even though we turned the music down, it actually made the audience focus more on the artists. So there's actually almost silence when they're performing, which is sort of quite rare at gigs, really, even when you're supposed to just be silent and listen. So it's actually turned out to be quite nice in that way, that it's such a quiet atmosphere. You can hear a pin drop in the quiet moments.
Right. So it was originally designed to be more of a chatty thing with background music, but now you find the audience actually sit and listen to the music. So it's more like a gig sort of thing then.
Yes, it is that. I think it was always sort of uncertain what it was going to be. All I did was say, you are welcome to talk, and we will turn the music down so talking is not, so you don't have to shout. But I was the first one to perform this because I thought, I don't know if it's going to work. And in my mind, I always wanted to make sure that people were listening to me, and I would find a way to make them listen, even though it was, the volume was against me, if you like. But actually, it's worked really nicely. And the audience are very interested in what the artists are doing, what they have to say. We even had one act, Steve Parker, whose guitar stopped working. So he was playing entirely acoustically without any amplification. And this whole room of people were just silent and intensely listening to him speaking so quietly. So that's the kind of audience who attend these.
And presumably the musicians themselves hang around and, as you say, mix with the crowd and stuff.
Oh, yeah, very much. It's actually turned into a really nice night where, fans of music, perhaps people who don't play themselves, end up talking to these artists who they now hopefully revere a little bit. And, you've got these two sets of people on the same level with no, there's sort of no ego from the artist or anything like that, not condescending to the fans, if you like.
So it's on monthly. How do you go about choosing the artist who gets to play?
It's down to who is available to some extent. Sometimes we put call outs.
Yeah.
It's just a judgment call on whether or not I think they are going to be a good fit for the audience. And that's how it's chosen. And that is quality of the artist. Are they actually really, really good? But also, do they have a good attitude? Are they willing to put their sort of ego aside, if you like, and make sure that the audience are having a good time and engaging? So that's pretty much how it's chosen.
So I must admit, I quite like the sound of that, because it's nice to be. It's always nice to chat to the artists after they've performed, and then they can tell you about their songs, and you can, like you say, you can tell them which songs you like and why you like them, and it's always nice. And I find them very appreciative as well. Is it only open to Leicester artists?
No, actually, last week actually, we had two artists come up from London. Now, one of them used to live in Leicester, so there's that connection. Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be, but I suppose having a local artist does perhaps bring a few extra people in. There's always that.
And you said in your August show, you almost couldn't find any. Almost was going to be cancelled. Why was that?
Yeah, well, I think we had. I think it was that we had to reschedule. The artists who played in September were going to play in August, and then last minute we moved it. I was without artists, and I couldn't really find anyone who I thought was suitable. And then JJ Lovegrove got in touch, and that was an obvious yes. Then we had a gig, and then I did ask another artist who recommended Sally Hossack. She was able to do it with her band, and so then we've pretty much got the whole gig sorted. And then I managed to find an artist called Carol Palmer, who is a wonderful folk artist. She's this is relevant, which is why I'm bringing it up. But she's perhaps a little older, and so when she opened up and played her first song, I think there was a slight lack of confidence there, perhaps not really knowing what to expect. After her first song, there was just thunderous applause and banging on tables and so much appreciation for what she does. It was really something to behold. And this big smile came up on her face because she realized that people appreciate her.
That must be amazing to see that happen and to be responsible for organising the show that did it.
Well, I mean, it's literally just organising. These are the people who have the talent, So yeah, it was wonderful to see.
And whereabouts are your shows held?
They're all held at Duffy's in Leicester. And always, or pretty much always, the second Thursday of every month.
And how can people find out more?
So you can either follow us on the socials, and we've got Facebook, Instagram and YouTube, which are all at Soundhive Social, one word. Or you can come and add me on Facebook if you like. Just Chris Ilet, Ilett.
And when is your next show, Chris?
The next show, I believe, is, it's Thursday, October the 12th at Duffy's Bar, of course. We have two featured artists. One is called Rebecca Moody, who's a solo artist, guitarist and singer, who's absolutely wonderful. She's got an angelic voice, absolutely beautiful. And then, of course, the very talented Chris Conway, who I'm sure most of you are familiar with, will be coming and playing, probably a 45-minute set, but he's got the freedom to extend that if he's having a good time and wants to, really.
Wow, that's brilliant. Yeah, he's an old stalwart of the music scene, isn't he, old Chris?
He is, yeah, he's fantastic.
Unusually, I haven't been to one of these yet. So I think I'll see if I can come along to that one. So that's on October the 12th at Duffy's Bar. And then you've got another one for the following month, haven't you? Thursday, the 9th of November, Duffy's Bar with Rhett and David Masson.
Yeah, so Rhett's well known on the scene, I think. He's got plenty of his own nights going on, but he offered to come and play for us. And I said we'd be very lucky if you would if you would do that. So thank you. Yes. And David Masson is an artist from Liverpool. He's an artist and producer. He's been playing a few shows in Leicester recently and getting a very warm response. We're looking forward to that.
Okay, brilliant. And of course, you've got another one. Oh, on Friday. Oh, the Christmas show has been moved to a Friday the 15th of December.
Yes, that's correct. We asked if we could move it to a Friday just so that people didn't have to go to work the next day, or most people. And so that one is going to be quite a lot longer. That's going to start about 7 o'clock, I think, and we'll have the usual fare of perhaps sort of quieter music early on. And then I think we're going to have a couple of bands, so things will get a bit louder. And I think from midnight till 2, we'll sort of have a DJ or two and just sort of make it a bit of a Christmas party.
Okay, that sounds good. Brilliant. Okay, good. And how much does it cost to get into your events, Chris?
They're all free at the moment.
Good thing about Duffy's and Firebug, they're doing quite a few free gigs these days, which certainly helps, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, we want to keep it free. I have thought last month we didn't get quite as many people turn up as expected. So I was sort of toying with the idea of, well, if we did tickets, would it actually make people turn up? For now, we're just going to keep it free. We want it to be open to people, given the type of event it is, the fact that we are trying to encourage people to come out of their shell a little bit. I think sometimes that happens a little bit spontaneously last minute. So
yeah,
it's free.
So are you sort of implying then that having it ticketed might encourage people to go?
I think it asks for a commitment, and yeah, if people have paid whatever £5 or something, then they're probably going to actually show. Whereas perhaps sometimes if it's a free event and they've clicked yes on an invite, they haven't made any real commitment, and they can not. I've done it myself. I'm not blaming anybody.
I suppose that's one way of looking at it. I mean, I usually think, well, if it's a ticketed event, then that means it's going to cost some money, so it put people off. And then if people don't know the artists, then they're less likely to pay £5 for somebody that they don't know and they might not like.
I mean, that probably is the case. I think I was just, having a bit of a brainstorm around it too.
Right. Okay. So, right, we're going to wrap up in a minute. But before we do, we're going to play another song from one of your guests that you've had on your wonderful show. It's Lulu by Sally Hossack and the Dream Band. I love that name, the Dream Band. She's pretty much got a dreamy voice, actually. It's amazing. So why did you choose this one, Chris?
Sally also played our August event along with JJ, and I was unsure on this one of where to place anybody on the bill because they were all so fantastic. And in the end, I put Sally on second, and I had my old drummer, Mark Haynes, who runs the Drum Bunker and is well known around Leicester. He came up to me in the middle of their set, and he was the most impressed I've seen him in over 20 years of knowing him. Yeah, I did just never seen him react quite that astounded. He was, I think he said, flabbergasted, as was I, as was everybody. So again, couldn't leave them out. So talented.
Okay, so thank you very much, Chris. So your next show is on Thursday, the 12th of October at Duffy's Bar, and it's free. Thank you very much for our little chat today.
Thank you very much, Kevin. I've really enjoyed it.
That's quite all right. Me too. And here's Sally Hossack and the Dream Band and Lulo.
Figures are approaching the ocean, eyes still glued to the sands. Lulo, how far will you ride? Put it aside, find somewhere else to hide it. Down to desperation you'll go. Lulo. find somewhere else to hide it. Down to desperation, you're gone. Ludo.
That was me chatting to the wonderful Chris Ilet. So it'd be great to pop along to one of his shows on the 12th of October in the sunny Duffy's bar in sunny Leicester. And that's completely free, which is great. Okay, so now it's time for a bit of Steve Faulkner and Enjoy the Ride.
Which way you're going when you leave it all behind. It'll be no consolation when you come to reconcile. There's only one destination, so you gotta enjoy the ride. Make no mistake about it, I'm here to spend some time. Take a look through my eyes, witness what I observe. You'll see someone before you who don't get the credit that they deserve. Don't look over your shoulder, leave one future behind. It's all laid out before you, your spirit needs to shine. There's only one destination, so you gotta enjoy the ride. Make no mistake about it, I'm here to spend some time. Nothing can make you happier than potential realized. So break free of your shackles and the scars that weigh you down. Why try to walk through water when there's so much air around? There's only one destination, so you gotta enjoy the ride. Make no mistake about it, I'm here to spend some time.
That was the wonderful Steve Faulkner and Enjoy the Ride. He can next be seen on Saturday the 23rd of September 2023 in the Clarence in Hinckley. So that will be great fun to see him. That brings us to the end of another Live Local and Loud with me, Kevin Gaughan. I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget, if you want to know what's going down locally musically, check out our gig guide in musicinleicester.co.uk. Also, if you want to listen to any more of these shows and the interviews therein, you can check out our handy website at musicinleicester.co.uk, and you'll see a playlist on the right hand side for Live Local and Loud. So do have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you here on Hermitage FM next Thursday at 5 o'clock.